Let's talk about 3 reasons why people pleasing can trigger neuroplastic pain or mind body concerns and what we can do about this. People with neuroplastic pain or mind body concerns tend to have the trait of people pleasing. And so when we think about people pleasing, there's an evolutionary component to this. Because if you please the people around you, if you please your tribe back in the day, what happens is you're more accepted by them, you're more socially acceptable, you're more useful to them, and as a result, you increase the likelihood of your survival. So, as human beings, we tend to lean towards being more people pleasing, at least a lot of us, because there is a survival mechanism to this. However, if you faced, abuse, neglect, or extreme stress in childhood, people pleasing can become a really common coping mechanism that we start to use. And so when we think about this, if you came from a violent home or somewhere, basically, if you didn't people please the people around you, your caregivers, then you were more in danger. It becomes really useful and causes us to feel safe and actually potentially be safe if we please our caregivers. Now, this doesn't have to be extreme abuse or neglect in childhood. Even for myself, I was bullied a lot growing up. And so one thing that helped me feel safe is actually by pleasing my peer group. Because if I utilize this people pleasing, I was more socially accepted, and as a result, I was less likely to be bullied. So you can see how this coping mechanism can start to develop. Now, unfortunately, as we kind of age into adulthood, it can actually start to trigger neuroplastic pain or mind body concerns or cause them to perpetuate. And so let's talk about 3 reasons why people pleasing can trigger neuroplastic pain symptoms and what we can do about it. So, number 1, people pleasing causes us to not take care of our own needs. When we think about people pleasing, basically we're always pleasing the people around us and we're taking care of their needs before ours. Now, in small doses, this can be useful. And as children, when we felt in danger and this helped us feel safe, there might have been utility to it. But if we go long enough in our life not taking care of our own needs, what starts to happen is our brain and nervous system feels constantly in danger. So I know even for myself, when I used to work, like in the past, I would constantly be giving it 120% to please my bosses. But that meant not taking care of myself, which can take away from your sleep, it can take away from you eating properly, and it can also take away from you giving yourself the space to feel your emotions and then provide what you emotionally need. So it's really important in our recovery from neuroplastic symptoms to start putting our own needs first. And I think, especially to maintain recovery from neuroplastic symptoms, we need to learn to prioritize our own needs. Now, the thing about this is actually the more we prioritize our own needs, the more compassion and care we can actually give to other people because we've dealt with ourselves first. We've cared for ourselves first. So this is really important in recovery. So think about this, like, are you taking care of your own needs that you need in life, that you need day to day, before you're pleasing everyone around you? Number 2, people pleasing can cause us to build up anger towards others and then prevent us from expressing it. When we think about people pleasing, if you are pleasing everyone around you and not taking care of yourself, that's going to build up resentment and anger. And I know for myself, especially when I was first recovering from neuroplastic pain, I became really aware that I was always trying to please everyone around me and not actually taking care of myself. And there was a lot of anger underneath that I was feeling and then was not expressing because, of course, I want to please everyone around me, so I'm not going to express the anger that I have. And so this is the second way that, people pleasing can kind of trigger neuroplastic symptoms because we know that unexpressed and unfelt anger can actually trigger chronic pain symptoms. And so to change this can be difficult because we can avoid conflict in our life. But to start, it's actually feeling the anger, connecting with that. Whether you do journaling or whether you're doing some emotion somatic tracking, it's really allowing yourself to feel that anger inside. And then once we've done that, the second step is to learn how to appropriately express this. And when I work with people in therapy, this is a really difficult thing to do, but really important because in private we can fully express the anger. But of course, we need to learn to stand up for ourselves and appropriately express to other people that we feel angry, that we're not going to put our needs behind theirs. And sometimes people in our life don't like this. People are used to us pleasing their every need sometimes. And so when we start to reduce this trait, there might be some resistance on their end. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't reduce this trait and take care of yourself first. But, it's really important that we learn to stand up for ourselves and we appropriately express to people that we're not going to meet all their needs all the time. That's not our job. We need to put ourselves first sometimes. So you can start, working at this a little bit. I know this one's difficult, but it can be a really important step for a lot of people to actually maintain recovery from neuroplastic pain symptoms. And number 3, people pleasing can cause us to become disconnected from what we authentically want in life. And this makes a lot of sense. When we are pleasing everyone else around us, we're not authentically living our life maybe the way we want to. Now, of course, we need to involve other people in our life and, treat them kind. That's really important. But if we're always putting our needs behind everyone else's, we're maybe not authentically living the way that we want to. And I know this was the case for myself. Decisions I was making in my life was a lot of times to please other people. And so I became really disconnected from making decisions that are actually important to me and that I authentically want. And so this can take some practice. And as we start to reduce this people-pleasing behavior, we can give ourselves more space to start to discover what we authentically want in life and what's true to us, what's really important to us. I think about values a lot of the time. What do we really value in life? What do we personally value? What's important to us? Asking these questions and connecting to this, and then starting to behave in such a way can really start to cause our brain and nervous system to feel safer, which is really important. If we're not authentically being ourselves and making decisions we want in life, the nervous system just starts to feel in a lot of danger. There's a lot of resistance between, what the world expects us to be and what we actually want to be. And so by starting to reduce this people-pleasing behavior, you'll give yourself space to connect with what you want. And so practice this a bit. Even after this, it's kind of writing down, what do you want out of life? What do you value? What's really important to you? And by connecting to these questions, you'll start to discover who you want to be and what's important to you. And so I encourage you all to, think about how people-pleasing could be affecting your neuroplastic pain or mind-body concerns, and then practicing some of the things that, I discussed in this video today, because actually starting to reduce this trait can make a difference in our pain symptoms. So I hope this video was helpful. Please put your questions or comments down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to release videos every week talking about neuroplastic pain and mind-body concerns. Take care.